What's up guys, Travis here again with Lucky Tackle Box. Today, we're using Fishing Physics Worm to really break down what is different. What do I mean by that? When you're fishing long stretches of structure, whether it's tules, docks, tree lines, you want to look for the subtle little differences. Which trees come out farther, which tules are kind of more isolated and sparse, and that's where you want to throw a worm like the Fishing Physics Worm, because that's where those fish are going to be stacked up. So let's break down this technique, starting with rigging. The rigging's real simple on this. I tie a Palomar knot to Mustad's 3/0 wide gap worm hook, and then I Texas rig this bait. It's got enough weight on it that I can really cast this a long ways, and it's got a great sinking rate, which we'll talk more about in retrieval. Then for line, I use Seagar's 8 to 12 pound mono or fluorocarbon. I'll go up to that 12 if I'm around heavier cover like this and stuff, but if there's not much cover, if I'm throwing more to little points and things like that, I'll go down to an 8 pound line, because that lighter line is less visible to the fish, but also it allows that bait to really have more action on its fall. You can really use a bait casting or a spinning setup for this. Basically, you want to have just enough backbone to make a long cast, but also be able to set those hooks on those long casts. But you want to have enough rod tip. You want that extra fast rod tip so you can feel those little subtle bites, and also so you can work that bait. If they're not hitting on the fall, you may need to give it a couple twitches, which we'll talk more about in retrieval, to actually get these fish to respond. When talking about retrieval, really I'm trying to get bit on the fall as this bait just sinks. So I want to make sure I'm casting to high percentage areas. That's why we're looking for what is different. So as we're coming along this bank and we're identifying our targets, I'm just going to cast right up to that target and let this bait just fall. I want to watch that line on the fall, and the second it jumps, it's going to be because the fish just inhaled it. And if it sinks down far enough that I don't think I'm going to get bit, what I'll do is I'll give it a couple twitches and I'll let it fall again. I'm in pretty clear water. So right now, if I don't get bit on the initial fall or the second fall, I'm just going to reel up and I'm going to cast up to my next target. Definitely a tip for clear water is longer casts are going to be better. These fish can see, hear, they really can sense that boat coming from a long ways away, and they're a lot more skittish in this clear water. So I want to make nice long casts to my targets and let that bait sink a long ways away from me. You have a better chance of getting some fish to bite. Okay, now let's talk about this genius bait technology that Fishing Physics developed. This is a hydrogel material, not silicone, not plastic, not rubber. It actually is more like a sponge. So when this bait is in the water-based scent that comes in that bag, it's actually absorbing all that scent all the way through the lure. So when you're fishing this, it's releasing that scent throughout the day, longer than other baits that are just sprayed with an oil-based scent all over the lure. Now, because this is a sponge-like material, if you leave it out in the sun, it has a tendency to dry up. So you've got to, if it dries up on you, don't worry, don't throw it away, just put it back in the bag and it will actually loosen back up and it'll absorb the scents that are in that bag and you'll be ready to go again. All right, location. Guys, this is a key factor in fishing this bait. Because this bait has great action, it's really good at generating strikes, but it's fished very slow because it's on the fall when you're gonna get bit. So you've got to make sure you're casting this thing in high percentage areas. So how many times do you walk up to a lake, a pond, whatever, and you see tons of great cover? You go, oh my Lord, there's tons of brush through here, there's tons of tules, trees, whatever, and you go, this is a bass heaven. But then you get overwhelmed real quickly because you go, where do you start? It all looks fantastic. So that's where you have to start looking for the little nuances. What is different? Are there tules that stick out farther than other ones? Is there some different wood and stuff mixed into the tule line? Or is there some trees that have fallen down in a line of trees where most of them are standing up? You've got to pay attention to these subtle little differences, and that's where you're going to key in on a target, because this has a high chance of getting bit if it falls by a fish, but you've got to make sure that it does fall by a fish. It comes down to, it's all about looking for what is different. And once you start looking, once that starts getting in your mind, whenever you come up to a lake where there's tons of tules, trees, all kinds of structure, you're gonna go, oh, this looks so good. But then you're gonna go even farther and go, okay, where are the better spots in this great looking water? And once you start doing that and throwing the right bait like Fishing Physics Worm, you're gonna like the results. Once again, guys, you know the routine. I'm Travis with Lucky Tackle Box. If you enjoyed the video, throw us that thumbs up, comment in the section below. And for any links to the gear or the tackle we used in this video, check the description box below. Peace.